Hey everybody, it's week 6. That means we are moving right along in like 15 weeks really of content. My math is like, is that half? Anyway, it's a little less than half. So it just means that you gotta be on the ball. So we're starting a new unit. Week 6 is a new unit. So all the ecology stuff is done, which makes me sad because I love it. But if you we're overwhelmed. Life is overwhelming right now. I totally get it. If you were overwhelmed and you didn't do very well, please don't try to go back and scramble and fix any of that because that's done. Think of it as done. I don't want you to be focused on anything other than what is ahead right now. And if you get all caught up and then you're like, Professor, please, I'm caught up and now I want to go back and do some of the stuff that I missed before, send me an email, okay? But don't worry about that. Right? And don't worry, if your grade is not what you want it to be, please don't keep looking at it. Think about all that you're learning and don't worry about your grade. Now I can say, I'm not going to bing, I have a magic wand. You get an A and so do you and you and you and you just because you want one. It doesn't work like that. But stress doesn't help anything. Focus on what's in front of you, which is the next projects that are coming up. And we're getting started with some cool ones. So, regular old information about homeostasis. Our bodies are these magnificent, really miraculous, miracle performing machines. What they do for us is truly, I think, inspiring, and it's good. It's good. Your body's a good thing. We do all these nasty things to our poor bodies. We think poorly of them if they don't look the way we want them to look, and all kinds of other sad stuff. So don't do that to yourself. Here we have some information about different systems. Keep in mind that the systems function together, sort of like an ecosystem, right? It's all these different interconnected, mutually dependent entities that are working together to make it function. But in order to study it, we have to break it down into separate parts because that's how our brains work. We can't just understand the whole body. We have to understand the different systems, respiratory, cardiovascular, urinary, all kinds of other things. And these are particularly pertinent for the next section that we're going to be talking about. So air pollution, which is pretty much right on for now, learning about air pollution. And then here is a discussion. I'm going to open it up right there. So the health impacts of air pollution. So after you've already learned some of what air pollution is about, and also I think in that section a little bit about how air pollution varies in different places. And here you're going to look at these 4 diseases, and learn what they are. So if you're the first person to post, you get to pick your disease. I mean, it would be super handy if you just went in order, but if you're looking at ischemic heart disease, you might be like, no, I don't even know what that word means. So whatever, put a placeholder post in that says, I'm going to do pneumonia. I've got pneumonia, or whatever. And then read about that disease just like this, 5 to 7 sentence overview. What is it? Organs affected, symptoms, primary risk factors, and then understand the graphs below between air pollution, right? Parts per million. So this is just basically understand it as increasing air pollution here, and then the risk of this disease, okay? So for all 4 of those different diseases, be able to describe that graph, the relationship between air pollution and the specific disease that you selected, and then how does it contribute to the lessening or worsening of that disease, so that you're going to need to get other references to know the impact of air pollution if you have that disease, what it does, okay? So that is due by Thursday, by the way. So you're in groups of that. I'm hoping that the groups have enough people that at least every disease gets covered. 5 groups, I really hope that at least 3 of those get covered. I know for some of you are having a lot of trouble getting stuff in. Anyway, let's hope that changes. Okay, and then, oh my gosh, look what happened when I Googled environmental justice in Los Angeles. A whole bunch of really interesting stuff came up. You might want to do the same thing, although that's not pertinent to our discussion necessarily, but it is, and it's also important. So the next assignment, which I think is also due on Thursday. Shoot, I didn't write it down. Sorry. We'll have to look at that later. Is looking at, is having you be an advocate for mitigation, which means lessening the damage of air pollution, because surprisingly enough, air pollution impacts are not even across all socioeconomic demographics in this county. What a shock. to find that poor people, and often people of color, not necessarily all together, those two demographics, but frequently connected, correlated, suffer more impacts of air pollution. Why is that? So here we go. Measure HHH, $1.2 billion to subsidize affordable housing. Great. Okay, now let's look at where these affordable housing construction projects are likely to be. And then you want to be helping these people who will live there to have better air quality in their homes, for their children, for their own issues, if they have diseases of anything, and how they would be exacerbated by poor air quality, all kinds of stuff like that. And just take it as a thought, like, you know, that we were stuck inside now for weeks with the fires, like the air pollution being so bad. So you want to advocate for these people who would be living here, that they have good quality air that they can breathe in their homes. So this is a really helpful thing right now, particularly with politics just being crazy. How do you write a persuasive letter to an elected official? Okay, so great content right here about how to set it up, and then, you know, formatting stuff, like what are you going to say in it, right? So here's the content, okay? And then the formatting, I kind of did that a little bit backwards, and then, you know, who you would be sending it to. This goes through Turnitin just to encourage everyone to be doing their own work, okay? Super, super important, especially with everything being all online. Your work is what I want to see. That's what's important. Oops, sorry. So there, if you need any extra support, helpful stuff, okay? Then I think I wanted to go back to this. I did. Okay, yes, indeed. And then, just like usual, a quiz due on the 4th. Okay, sorry, persuasive letter due Sunday night. Quiz due Sunday night. Discussion post here due Thursday night. Okay, and then we get into the lab part. And this is actually a lot of stuff for you to do on your own. So please don't leave this until Sunday night. Like, please, you know, check it out, look at it, get it started. Even like turn it in early. You can do that. You can. Anyway, so here it is. Physiology and Health Analysis Lab. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Google Doc word processor. It gets submitted as a PDF, okay? So a whole lot of questions to answer. All of these in yellow need to be answered. I mean, you can just do it in a Word doc as you're going through. You know, make sure to identify, like, put the title and then answer the questions. I mean, if you want to get, like, super helpful to me, you could even cut and paste the questions and then put your answers, like, in a different color or something right below them. That would be great. But in the very least, a title and then the numbers. And then I think my top 3 lifestyle and or heredity risk factors are, and then your answer, okay? So not like a big whole paragraph of text that I don't understand what you're trying to say where, and I'm trying to piece it out. It's taking a long time, and I'm frustrated, and it's late, and I'm tired, and, you know, you don't want me like that when we're grading, when I'm grading the papers. Make it easy for me to show you, to see where all the points you need to get are. Okay, background content here, how to take your pulse. There you go, 3 times, and then take the average to get a better quality, better, more accurate results. Pear-shaped versus apple-shaped people. Some of us used to be pear-shaped, and now we got like an apple on our pear or something. Anyway, so this is really, like, it's not for me to be like stalking your shape. It's really baseline data for you to know, like, how healthy are you? Because often, I know for myself, you know, I'm fit, I'm healthy, but if I actually like take my measurements, I just tried on some shorts recently that I haven't worn since before the pandemic, since last year, and I've been wearing these super elasticy stuff because I like hardly do anything, and I was like, oh man. So it's important to know, right? Because otherwise you just kind of have this notion, and our notions are so often wrong. So find out. And then risk assessment link right there. This score is not going to go on this page, obviously, but you'd be entering all this stuff in your Google Doc or in your Word doc. So another link right there. Now, some of this stuff, like if you are adopted or you just don't have family around, just do your best, right? Some of it you might not be able to answer. Whereas there's another one, it asks about, oh, it doesn't anymore. That's great. It used to ask about cholesterol. Like, who knows the cholesterol? I don't. Anyway, So then you take the Harvard STEP test. All you need to do is have like a step. You can have, do it inside, outside, wherever, but you just need a step. So you can even use a stool or, whatever. Just about everybody should be able to do this unless you aren't, your ankles don't work, your knees or something like that. If that's the case, send me an email real fast so we can figure something else out. And then an interesting part here is about mindfulness and a little information about the effect of mindfulness, meditation essentially, but it can be a lot of different things, has on your heart rate. Okay, and then here's a 5-minute meditation, and then if that changes your heart rate, and some questions to answer. Okay, when you are done with that, remember, get it done early because that's going to take a while. That's a lot of stuff to do. Then we start another short project here. This is like 3 weeks. And this, I think, may be worth all of the money that you ever had to pay for your tuition here at PCC. Honestly, if you take this seriously, this is really, really important and could be very, very helpful to you for the rest of your life. Okay, so you take a pre-stress test and record your score. So this says on Monday, and record your score. Starting on Monday, you will participate in one of the 2 treatments for 5 days. Pick your treatment group. You can either do 5 days of regular exercise or practice mindfulness for 5 days. So every day, if you're in the mindfulness group, you do this 5-minute meditation. If you're in the exercise group, you do 20 minutes of exercise every day for the next 5 days. And then you take, sorry, I'm so kidding. This is not for this Monday, this is for next Monday. So this is the preview. Indeed, I was like, I don't remember a notice about that. That's good because it's just a preview. Oh, I'm much relieved there too. Anyway, so just to know that that's something that you're going to be having to put on your schedule for next week, so plan for it. There we go. This is very comforting here. Then there's a little post-experiment where you'll get to compare the exercise versus the mindfulness group and see if exercise was as effective as mindfulness or vice versa, or if neither was effective or whatever. We'll be compiling all this data, I think, with all of the Bio 11 classes. So I'll have a little bigger N, which is the sample size, which gives you better results. So preview the procedure, week 6, that's us now, great relief. Week 7, you'll start all this stuff going on Monday, and then continue the treatments, and then Friday is completing the final test, the stress test survey, submitting the data, and then week 8, we're going to be analyzing the data. You can bet there's going to be some graphs to do. There's going to be like a paper to write, that kind of stuff. So be ready for it, okay? Also, get out the vote. I care less about who it is you're going to vote for than that you vote, and get 5 or 10 other people to do the same. There are postcard writing efforts out there in swing states everywhere. Like, just do it. It's so important that we have a voice, that we use the voice that we have. Anyway, take care.